Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Palates. I am Aaron Loomis. With me today is John McTavish. How you doing, John?
Doing well. The cigar we're reviewing today, I narrowly missed being caught in the middle of a snowstorm while reviewing it.
Great day in Canada. All right, so today we are talking about the Saga Solaz Robusto. Cigar is 5-inch by 50 ring gauge, comes out of the De Los Reyes factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut shade, binders from the Dominican Republic. Filler is Dominican Criollo, Olor, and Piloto Cabano. Price point is $8.30, and the cigar was released in September of 2019. So, with all that out of the way, John, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
Well, now that you describe it having piloto, that probably makes a lot of sense as to why the cigar had a lot of complexities in it that I wouldn't typically expect out of a Connecticut. For me, the first third of the cigar, I would say, stayed perfectly within what the realm of a Connecticut is, with a little bit of hay, a little bit of grassiness, a little bit of bitterness, but it had this biscuity, bready sweetness and savoriness to it with a little bit of spices that really elevated it above what a sort of typical baseline Connecticut would be. And then it had a little bit of that going into the second third. And I was really hoping the second third was going to be a most repeat of the first third, but I would say the classic Connecticut profile took over right around just before the middle of the second third, and then that kind of carried through to the last third. In that classic bitterness, it's just not something that I particularly like. And I would say for me, that's what makes a classic Connecticut sort of an average, normal classic Connecticut of all the other types of Connecticut's in the market. So overall, it was average, but I would say, if we had a range between average and good, to me, this is an above average flavor profile. And I did have impeccable construction and draw, so that certainly did help things. What was your experience like?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started with toasted cedar, mustiness, and light bitterness, and then pretty quickly some nuttiness, black pepper, and light coffee joined in for a little bit. The cedar transitioned to oak and was then paired with mustiness the rest of the way until a little bit of a vegetal note joined in the final third. Construction was good aside for a couple of touch-ups, and the strength was just right around medium the whole way. Overall, I thought the cigar had a pretty typical Connecticut shade profile, like you mentioned. Had a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of vegetal notes paired in with some oak, some mustiness. Definitely a candidate for a morning cigar with some coffee. I'd smoke this cigar again. Kind of, but I do want to smoke it in other vitolas. I think there's a Toro and I think there's a Gordo in this. I'm kind of curious to smoke the Gordo just to get a feel for how that it works in that size. Um, but it's for me, it's not topping the list of Connecticut shades that came out this year, which was I think was a good year for Connecticut shades. Um, but like you mentioned, there's nothing wrong with this cigar. It's like kind of just floating around in the middle. It's like it's not a
Mhm.
stellar Connecticut shade, but it's not like an overly bitter, overly grassy Connecticut shade. It's like it's kind of staying in the right lane of what it's doing. But
Yeah, I almost wrote in my review that I would reach for this over a vast majority of Connecticut's that I see on the shelf today.
yeah,
But I wanted to say that in a way that didn't diss all the other manufacturers. It's
right.
just there's a lot of average Connecticut's out there, and I think this does do enough to rise above that crowd.
Yep, I would agree with that. So getting into the scores, at the top with you, John, at 6.10, and I was not too far behind at 5.55. How do you think that 6.10 matched up for you?
I think that's a pretty strong offer. I mean, obviously, like I said, it had perfect construction, so I think that elevates the score. I do think flavor profile wise, this is what I would classify as above average. So flavor profile, this is 5.7, 5.8, and then it's that perfect construction that gets it up over that six mark. What about you?
Yeah, 5.55 matches up perfectly. An average flavor profile throughout. Had to do a few touch-ups to keep things burning in line, so that kind of knocked things down a little bit. But I think it makes it right into that mid-5 spot pretty good. Um, Now, I will say one thing: the price point's fairly attractive at $8.30 for a Robusto. That's not too bad. So it's not going to break the bank if you want to give it a shot. And I think all the other Vitolas are pretty reasonably priced um, for this type of a cigar. So
Yeah,
um,
and I echo your sentiments about trying some of the other Vitolas. In addition to this, as it's my first entry to the Saga brand, it certainly leaves me interested to try other offerings.
mhm.
Sometimes with your first offering with a company, you can oftentimes judge the entire portfolio by one
Right.
cigar experience. I would say this works in their favor because now I'm intrigued to see what else they've got to offer. I think looking forward to the next review.
Yeah, they definitely have some good cigars in their portfolio. So it's nice to try them out and see how kind of things have progressed. I was very interested in this cigar, the Connecticut Shade offering that they were going to put out. So
Hmm.
it was, I mean, it wasn't a disappointment, but it wasn't also down. It didn't like wow me. So it was just kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
right in that middle ground.
yeah.
All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalettes.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.